Hello, everybody. I'm reading from a book. I've read this book before. It's called Unrelenting Prayer by Bob Sorge. And it's so good. And I just wanted to share some of it with you. He says, he reads out of Luke 18, 1 through 8. Then he spoke a parable to them that men always ought to pray and not lose heart, saying that there was in a certain city a judge who did not fear God nor regard man. Now there was a widow in that city, and she came to him saying, "Get justice for me from my adversary." And he would not for a while. But afterward he said within himself, "Though I do not fear God, nor regard men, yet because this widow troubles me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me." Then the Lord said, "Hear what the unjust judge said, and shall God not avenge his own elect who cry out day and night to him, though he bears long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he really find faith on the earth?" So basically, this widow kept going to the judge and bugging him to get justice for her adversary. And the judge didn't love God. It's not that he was a great guy. He just got sick of her asking. So this is what this book is about. Chapter 1 is called Never Relent. Have you been seeking God a long time for your breakthrough? Then know this: the devil wants you to give up. He'd like to convince you that God has ignored your prayer or is refusing to act on your behalf. Face it, your enemy croons, nothing is going to change. But you've got your fingers wrapped around promise. Your jaw is set, your gaze is fixed, and you'll never stop contending for the release of kingdom power and authority in this generation. Now, promise is usually, and in this book, is the Holy Spirit, because the Holy Spirit promise is a person. When you have hold of promise, you have a hold of a piece of God. So, and because of your tenacity, you now find yourself in the battle of a lifetime. Why? Okay, you can hear the pages turn because I'm turning them. Because your prayer life has stirred up a spiritual hornet's nest. You've become a dangerous end-time weapon in the hand of your God, and your adversary is enraged. The greatest warfare always surrounds your prayer life. Nothing threatens hell more than the praying saint. When you're abiding in his presence, clinging to his love, living in his word, holding to his promise, remaining fervent in spirit, and believing for his visitation, you're an explosion that's waiting to happen. Don't think that your enemy will let you inhabit God's promises unchallenged. When you stand at the throne of God and lift your unrelenting cry to your judge, always asking and seeking and knocking, you won't have to go looking for a fight. It will find you, because your enemy knows if you will just stand there and never be silent and never lose heart and never give up, but lift your voice to the judge until he gets justice for you. Eventually, something's going to happen. It's inevitable. You are standing on the platform that rewrites human history. Most assuredly, God is going to rise up on your behalf and answer your cry. And the certainty of God's intervention makes you dangerous to the enemy's agenda. So he will come against your resolve to pray and will do everything in his power to move you from before the throne, anything to get you to shut up. Will he find faith? The battle to pray and to keep on praying has never been fiercer. Predicting that the intensity of this warfare would increase as his return draws near, Jesus asked a piercing question: "Nevertheless, when the Son of Man comes, will he really find faith on the earth?" What did Jesus mean by this question? In his primary meaning, Jesus was asking a question about his second coming to earth. When I return to the earth at the end of this age, at the time when the saints will be severely tested by Satan's rage and by a world system that will abandon itself to darkness, will I find my people living in such a reality of faith that they will be crying out to me incessantly in pure confidence and expectation? Or will Satan's scheme to snuff out my people's faith be successful? By posing the question, Jesus was indicating that faith is not an automatic shoo-in. The question would haunt our hearts as a dreadful warning. Will the forces unleashed against the saints in these last days be so formidable that we lose the kind of authentic faith that prays through to fulfillment? Jesus' question also has a secondary and more immediate meaning. In his question, we can hear him implying, when I come to visit you personally and to answer the cry you first uttered long ago, will I find you still looking to me and calling upon me in full assurance of faith? Or will I come to answer your prayer only to discover that you've lost heart, given up hope, and fallen back into your silent resignation? The Lord rarely tells us in advance when he will come to us with an answer. He said, watch therefore, for you do not know what hour your Lord is coming. Matthew 24:42. If he were to tell us when our prayers would be answered, we would not know how to steward that kind of information wisely. It could break us, ruin us, wound us, discourage us, or disorient us. Under ongoing pressure, we naturally inquire, how long, Lord? Our hearts search like those of the prophets to discover the manner of time in which God intends to fulfill his plan. But often our understanding of timing is blurred. Faith postures itself, therefore, to be ready and alert at all times, always prepared through unceasing prayer for the visitation of God. Jesus, when you come to visit us, may you find us watching. All right. I'm gonna end there. Basically, it's just saying that don't give up prayer. Don't give up. The enemy is going to fight you so hard and give you so many stumbling blocks because you're going to get a breakthrough. And the last thing he wants is for you to get a breakthrough. We have to have faith. We need faith. And this is for me. And that's why I picked up this book again, because this book is so good to stir up your unrelenting prayer. I might come back and read a little bit more of it later. God bless you, and I hope you're following this book with me. It will really help you. I love you. God bless you. Have a great night.